All right, here we go. 8.5 lecture notes. Pretty straightforward. So, objective key terms. I don't really know to go over that stuff. You will need to put this as well as yesterday's key terms or key terms into your vocab today, though. All right, so there's going to be 5 of them. So, fishery and fish print, and as well as the 8.4 ones yesterday, or from yesterday, excuse me. All right, Tay. So first off, okay, how does ecosystem approach help to protect aquatic biodiversity? So yesterday, 8.4, we're talking about terrestrial. Now we're going to talk about aquatic. All right, number one, so establish protected sanctuaries, managing coastal development, reducing water pollution, and preventing overfishing can help sustain aquatic biodiversity and increase beneficial human environmental impacts. All right, whole bunch of pretty Stanford, straightforward stuff there, I assume. I don't think that each of those needs explanation, but we'll find out as we go along. All right, number two, human activities have destroyed or degraded much of the world's coastal wetlands. All right, coral reefs, mangroves, as well as the ocean floor. And we've talked a little bit about this. Basically, think of like those that live on the coast, those mangrove forests do a really good job of kind of like making it so the waves don't impact the coast. But those that live on the coast, they don't want to see the mangrove forest. They want the beautiful blue ocean, so they rip them all out. That's kind of what they're talking about there. All right, so threats to freshwater ecosystems include habitat loss, degraded water flows. So, like the amount of water, think of like the Colorado River, there used to be a whole ton. Now it doesn't even reach the Pacific Ocean anymore. Okay, there's biodiversity loss. There's dam buildings, except for water withdrawal, and so on. Threats to the marine ecosystem. So, the marine means saltwater. Okay, we got dredging, there's trawling, changing sea levels, warming ocean waters, a whole bunch of different things. We're going to walk through a few of those. All right. Trawling, one of the largest human caused disturbances in the biosphere. All right. Like I said, we're going to have a video that's going to show exactly what that's talking about. All right. So, oh, we've talked about this video before. Basically, those big ocean waves come through the mangrove forest, but now the impact of those waves on the shore is basically nothing. And those mangrove forests are wonderful, but we've decided to take them all out. All right, this is dredging. I'm going to turn off my camera. That way you don't have to watch me watching the video with you. All right, here we go. All right. So, honestly, kind of some cool engineering, but if you think about it from like a very environmental standpoint, all of the life on the bottom of the ocean, it's not going to be doing so hot once it gets sucked up there, as well as once it starts getting, where's the part at? The rainbowing out kind of a thing. So, right about there. How do you think the life on the bottom of the ocean or bottom of the seafloor right there or living on the seafloor is going to be doing? Not so hot. Okay. So again, from like an environment, from an engineering perspective, this is actually pretty cool. From an environmental standpoint, not the greatest thing in the world. Now they were talking a lot about reclamation projects. I think they touched on right briefly. One of the things that they can do is by doing what they're doing, they can make the bottom of the seafloor or that bay deeper. Think of the port of Tacoma. When they have big ships coming in with all the containers of the stuff we buy from Amazon, those ships need to have a deep enough channel to go through. So they need to do this. This is another aspect of basically trying to balance kind of the environmental impact versus human development, like kind of what we need as humans. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now this is bottom trawling. This is a much quicker video, but basically this is showing what bottom trawling is. Remember how earlier I said it's one of the worst things that we can do? Pay attention. This is one of the worst things that we can do, basically. Remember how I said it's bad? That's bad. Obviously, you're basically putting a whole bunch of wheels on the bottom of the ocean and just dragging it across there, picking up anything and everything in your path. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, you can see obviously during trawling, look at that top left hand corner. Just absolutely that ocean floor is decimated. However, after the trawling is stopped, life gets a chance to take a breath and repopulate. Basically, think secondary succession there. It has an opportunity to repopulate. All right. So, long line fishing, that's another one. Okay. Side note, there's no notes at this point just yet. I'm kind of going over a few different methodologies on what we do. All right. So, a couple different methodologies to make it so it's not as impactful, but each of those methodologies makes a cost. If you're a business, you're trying to lower the cost, increase your profits. That's where kind of the crux of this stuff really starts to hit. All right. Gill net fishing. Here's another one. Again, ways to make it safer, but that's going to increase the cost. So people don't really want to do it. All right. So industrial fishing fleets supply the growing global demand for seafood by using GPS equipment and fish finding devices and huge nets, long lines and spotter planes and refrigerated factory ships that could like there's just a ton of stuff. The bottom line to this whole thing, and this is number three, the fish simply don't stand a chance because we have so much technology to find them. There's not really a way that they can get away, unfortunately. All right. Now, what fish prints are, okay, this is number four, kind of define or summarize this, I should say it that way. Defined as the area the ocean needed to sustain fish consumption of an average person, the nation, or the world. So, do you remember ecological footprints? Ecological footprints is basically kind of like the terrestrial version. A fish print would be the aquatic version of that. Okay. So, personally, and I don't mean to sound like I'm on a high horse, I don't eat seafood mainly because I just don't like the taste. So my fish print is basically zero. All right. And like, I know that that sounds kind of pompous and everything, but like, I don't eat seafood, therefore my fish print is zero. If you eat a lot of food, a lot of like, let's say you eat a lot of seafood, but very little chicken or pork or bacon or red meat or anything like that, then your ecological footprint on land is small, but your fish print will be big. That's kind of the idea we're talking about there. All right. What a fishery is, that's the concentration of aquatic species suitable for commercial harvest. So, for example, like a salmon fishery or a tilapia fishery or a shrimp fishery, something like that. Basically, like we're talking about a certain area for that particular species. Now, overfishing has led to the collapse of some of the major world fisheries around the nation. Basically, what that means is we've overfished it. So therefore, instead of that species kind of being the keystone species or one of the higher up guys, a whole bunch of invasive species take over. That's basically what's going on there. All right. Now, coral reefs. This is talking about coral reefs are exposed to the warmest and most acidic ocean waters of the past 400,000 years. So now basically we're at where are we at? We're at number six. So ocean acidification, more accurately, okay, ocean warming is basically what we're talking about there, or more acid neutralization. I'm sorry. Number six should be more accurately ocean neutralization because it's not actually turning acidic. It's basically the pH is getting closer and closer to seven, is what it is. All right. Where are we at? Earth's ocean have absorbed, that's number seven, have absorbed 1/4 of the excess CO2 in the atmosphere, which is amazing, but we don't know how much the ocean's holding, and that's where the problem lies. Okay, the change in pH means that basically it's absorbing more CO2, so it's becoming more acidic, or again more neutral. Okay, the less availability of the bicarbonate ions hurts phytoplankton, corals, and so on, so on, so on, so on. Basically, more acidic. That takes out the things that those guys need to build their shells. That's basically what that thing is talking about right there. That's number eight. All right. Now, number nine, pollution from excess soil nutrients causes oxygen depleted dead zones in the ocean. Okay. So, dead zones can form from excess soil nutrients. That's number nine. Okay. Those nutrients, those fertilizers are washing off from farm fields. They're carried downstream into the ocean. Think of the Mississippi River watershed dumping right into the Gulf of Mexico. Okay. This causes the overgrowth of algae, which die and sink to the bottom of the ocean. The bacteria break down the algae, which uses up the oxygen in the water column. That kills and drives away organisms that cannot get the oxygen they need. The area becomes lifeless, thus the term dead zone. All right. Here's a quick video, or kind of a video that talks about what's going on here in the Pacific Northwest. That's All right. Example of a dead zone right off our coast. All right, which is normally not something that occurred. Okay. All right. So, can we protect oceans and sustain more marine biodiversity? So, protection is possible, but it is difficult, mainly because fish prints and ecological footprints are expanding exponentially. Okay. As people get more money, they basically want to eat more protein because that's healthier for them. So, as you get more money, you're going to eat more chicken, you're going to eat more tuna, you're going to eat more tilapia, we're going to whatever, that kind of stuff. You're going to eat more protein substances. Another reason, ocean damage, we can't really see. Like if you go to Yellowstone, 1990, and then you go in 2020, you're going to see a difference. But if you go out and play on the ocean in 1990 and then you go water skiing again in 2020, it's hard to see the difference because everything is underwater. All right. People incorrectly view the ocean as simply an inexhaustible resource that's going to be there for forever, basically. Okay. Most of the world's ocean lies outside the legal jurisdiction of any country. Okay. This is an example of tragedy of the commons. Nobody owns it. There's no reason to really start to take care of it. All right. What we can do, correct or create marine protected areas. All right. 41% of the waters are protected in some way, but they often only provide partial protection and they're often too small. Now, marine reserves, on the other hand, nobody can mess with. Okay. Nobody can go in there. Nobody can go fishing, any of those things. Okay. Quick recovery of fish populations and species diversity is massive. All right. So, what we can do, complete the mapping of the world's aquatic biodiversity, identify and preserve the world's aquatic biodiversity hotspots, just like on the land, create large, fully protected marine reserves to promote marine ecosystem recovery, and initiate global ecological restoration projects. All right, reduce poverty in areas near protected lands and waters. Big ask, as we've talked about before. All right, pretty straightforward. Answer all those questions. If you do have a question, put it on the end of this head puzzle. All right, see you guys on Tuesday.